is April 6th, 2023, and we are live. Welcome, everyone, to the SouthPoint podcast. This is episode number 50.
Is it really 50?
Number 50.
Wow.
Oh, that's a big
I'm
number.
so excited. My name, yes, thank you, guys. Thank you.
And that's snaps, bro.
Snaps.
Yes.
like
My name
claps.
is Carlos Tello. I do want to thank you all for 50 episodes. It's been such a great time. Thank you for trusting me with this.
You're welcome.
Thank you for supporting me with this.
Yep.
And thank you all for watching
You're
and
welcome.
listening. It means the world. Katie, thank you as well. You always are here to help. I know how busy all you guys get, and just thank you for this opportunity. It's so much fun. We are live today, and if you are joining us, joining in on the conversation, get your comments and your questions ready to go. Back with me today, finally, Pastor
Felipe.
Felipe.
And in English, it's Vanilla Thunder.
Pastor Craig Wendell's back in the house. How you doing?
I'm doing amazing. I'm doing very well. A
Doing very
little
well.
tired. It's been a long week,
Absolutely.
and got a lot more to go.
It's a
but
big week.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's a
Very
big
good.
week. Big week. Jason Burton's back in the house.
Yep.
How you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. My lovely wife over here, Jacqui. How are you?
Great.
Great.
So good.
And I've already mentioned, but producer Katie is in the house, making us all sound and look good today.
you have the maximizer on my voice, right? So it sounds more like a man.
Sounds
I'm not even going to respond.
Everybody doing good. It's a great week. Kicked it off with, well, it was kind of the tail end of last week, but we kicked it
Yeah.
off with Springfest
Yes.
2023.
Yes, we did.
It was a windy day, but it was fun.
It
All the
was.
kids everywhere, all the eggs.
Yes.
Even the year before that was windy.
It was cold last year.
It was cold. I
It was
remember
cold
that.
last
And we
year.
were serving
Yeah.
ice cream, which was a winner.
Spot on.
Yep. It was fun. My kids had a blast. My son, racked up with all the eggs.
Oh, trust me, we were finding all the candy wrappers at the house. It's
And
great.
my
nice.
pup is
So good.
having a great time with those plastic eggs.
Oh, I
I
bet.
bet.
I
He's
bet.
having all kinds of fun. So I've did this with all the staff members that have been coming on lately, and since you haven't been on, I want you to really introduce yourself. Tell everybody how long you've been here at SouthPoint Church. What do you do
Seriously?
here?
Holy moly.
My name is Craig Phillip Wendell. My social security number is none of your business.
That's a weird number.
It really is.
It is.
My wife Patty and I, we started SouthPoint 17 years ago. We're at 16 and a half
We're
years.
coming up on 17.
Coming up on 17. And it's been a roller coaster. It's not always been up and to the right. It's been down and to the left a few times. But all in all, it's the ride. It's fun.
Absolutely.
We love it.
Well, we've enjoyed the ride that we've been on with you guys. It's been great. And, tomorrow is Good Friday, which means Sunday is coming.
It
which
is.
means it's Easter. How are you feeling this Easter compared to 16 and a half years ago on your first Easter at SouthPoint Church?
Okay, so I just had this conversation
Oh, okay.
with Pastor Ronnie Johnson, who planted a church in the Malco movie theater
Yeah,
here in
yes.
South Haven. So him and I, we talk all
Familiar
the time.
territory.
Yes.
And he called me this week, and he said, "Hey, so what should I expect for my first Easter?" I said, "Expect crickets." And he was like, "What?" And the truth of the matter is, your first Easter, everybody else has a great attendance because they go to church with mom. Mom says,
Yes.
"What do you want for
Yes.
Easter? I want my kids, my family together." But when you're a new church, mom don't go there, and so everybody goes with mom. And so the first 5-6 years for us, Easter was a low attendance. It was just down. So you kind of have to brace yourself for that. So what's the difference now?
Yeah.
Well, we do have some moms in the house, right? And so
Absolutely,
we
yes.
have more people coming, which is great, and I'm excited about that. It's kind of building back after COVID. Do you guys remember COVID? Anybody
No.
remember that?
I
Out
don't
of my head.
remember any of that.
Yeah, me neither.
Yep, no recollection.
2 years just gone. But people are obviously getting out of the house now, and I think getting back more into a normal-ish routine.
Rhythm.
A rhythm.
Yep.
That's a
Yeah.
good way to say it. And so I'm way more excited about this Easter than I was 17 years ago. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you prepare any different? Do you get nervous still, knowing that somebody's coming with their mama this Sunday that may not have stepped into church since Christmas and may not have stepped into church since maybe the Mother's Day before that?
Easter does since it's just you and me talking,
Yeah, absolutely.
privately,
There's
nobody else
here
listening.
Yeah.
My 2 least favorite Sundays of the year are Christmas and Easter, because everybody, most guests come with unreal expectations, and they almost sit through worship and the message with arms folded, like,
Yeah.
I've heard this before.
Yeah.
You gonna move me? Show me something.
Yeah. What's different?
Yeah,
What's different this
what's
time?
real, whatever.
Yeah.
And so I don't like that. But there's really nothing you can do about that. Do I prepare differently? Yes. I'm way more stressed. That's the only reason I don't like Christmas and Easter, because I'm way more stressed about those messages and delivering the content in a way that is meaningful, real, biblical, yet is something that is a little bit different, that will speak to people that have been coming to church their whole life.
Absolutely.
And they've heard the same story over and over again. And so presenting the exact same content in a different, creative way, it is more stressful. It really is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I sleep way less this week than I do the other weeks.
Hey, friends, pray for your pastors, not just for PC, but pray for the pastors in this area.
Local pastors.
Yeah.
As we are focusing on our community this week for Servolution, just be mindful of what all the people that are out there that may not have a church home, may be walking to a church, may not be ours, might be,
Right.
Somewhere down the street, but just know there's going to be a lot of people coming to church this weekend, and it's a big day, and just pray for those coming in.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you playing Sunday?
I am playing.
All right. How you feeling about that?
Fingers are nimble and
Loosen?
ready to go.
Get loose.
Yeah, ready to go. Had a great practice last night.
He's playing the harmonica this
Playing the
time for
harmonica
the first
with
time
my
ever.
fingers.
Oh.
That's a lie. He's
Harmonica.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not.
With his fingers.
Yeah, because I push the air.
He just takes it and just slams the air.
Airbender.
Oh, that's great. If you're on the serve team this weekend, hey, this is the best day of the year for us.
Yes, it is.
We get to serve people in a practical way, say hi to somebody, greet somebody, save a seat for somebody, go to third service as you've been asking people
Go
to
to
do.
third service. We're doing
Unless you're serving,
8:30.
right?
Yeah,
Unless
we're
you're
doing
serving in
8:30,
certain
10,
services.
8:30, 11, and
8:30.
Okay.
8:30.
let me just back up for a
8:30.
second.
Rewind.
Hold on.
10.
Let's
And-
start
and
all over.
11:30.
Wait.
11:30.
Let's
How about we
start
just
all
start
over.
over? Let's say it all
Start
together.
over.
8:30, 10, and 11:30.
There you
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
It's been tripping me up too.
Yeah, the change. And today is Serve Day. Today is
Yes.
Maudie Thursday. Did you know this?
I did not know that.
Wad.
What
Maud.
does that
Naughty.
mean?
Maudie Thursday. It's a Latin term for serving, because this is the day in Holy Week where Jesus washed the disciples' feet. So it's serving. It's all about serving. And that's one of the reasons we go out and serve and do Servolution this week. This afternoon we have a group going to do ministry to the homeless up around the Union Mission in Memphis and stuff, handing out sleeping bags and like
All
some
kinds of
food.
goodies.
Yeah, all kinds of goodies and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Just continually serving. I think that's so huge.
Is
and
it too
important.
late for these people to sign up for something this weekend?
Well, it is for the one this afternoon.
The one this afternoon.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they can still sign up on the app or the website, however they want to.
Yep.
We got more coming, one every day.
Yep. So check that out, everybody. If you haven't been able to get out there and serve, check out their app. Check out the website. www.southpoint.tv. If you have served this week, drop the comment and let us know how it went.
Yeah, or a picture. Some
Or
of them have
picture.
pictures. Yeah, drop a
absolutely,
picture in the
absolutely.
comment. That'd be
great. That'd be really cool. Easter's, I just thought about this.
Easters.
Will forever be changed because of that movie. If y'all never seen Nacho Libre, we try to quote this every time it leaves.
If you
we
haven't seen
but
it,
it's like you can't get away without saying Easter's at this point.
it's actually part of our whole new members class is watching Nacho Libre,
Easter's, yeah.
because you can't be saved unless you've watched
That's
Nacho
right,
Libre
that's
at
right.
least 3 times.
And you may baptize somebody in a salad bowl next week after that. Praise the Lord. That's right. Baptism Sunday is coming next Sunday, right?
yeah,
after
the Sunday
Easter.
after
Yeah.
Easter.
So that is a part. Listen, this is a back-to-back banger of a Sunday. Don't miss it. Baptism Sunday is so much fun.
It is.
You get to dunk a ton of people. I'm not sure the number yet, but normally it's
Right now
pretty
we
good.
have.
Hang on, I'll get
Ooh,
that number
ooh.
for you just
Ooh,
right quickly.
Yes.
Oh, look at him. So
love
far, but you can
stats.
still
Down to
sign up while
25%.
he's looking
I
looking
love
at it. You
stats.
can still sign up for water baptism.
Yep.
We'll be doing 2 services that Sunday, but you can sign up for either one, and it's a great time.
Yeah, so far we got 25. signed
25.
up. Yes, 25.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
25 people coming to just declare and get baptized, and it's faith and it's obedience, and obviously following Easter.
It's a
That's
fun time.
Party in the house. It's
Yeah.
so much fun. It's just one of the best Sundays of the year. Hey, everybody, invite somebody to church this Sunday, 3 services.
What times are they, Carlos?
8:30,
8:30,
10
10,
o'clock, and
11:30.
11:30. I completely didn't write them down because I completely forgot the times myself, so I'm glad y'all said it before I did.
Oh, because I remembered them
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
well.
'cause he's so well, for sure.
I was relying on help from this side of the table to get that information out. So many great things are happening here. Do we have Celebrate Recovery Night, Katie?
Yes, we do.
Celebrate Recovery.
Every
is
We have
Thursday.
a good old testimony tonight.
Testify.
And right now, our step study signups are still open. So,
Awesome.
How
that's
long
cool.
are those open? How long do they stay open?
about
What is the latest that somebody could join one of those?
so we're starting on the material this week, this coming Monday.
So then they can't sign up after that.
So like 4 more weeks,
Okay.
you can sign up.
Okay. Yeah, because I know you get to a certain point, and then it's like you need to go back to the beginning.
Right.
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 Yep.
But
You
yeah,
need to go back to the end of the
So we need to
line.
start
men
over.
and women, sign up.
Celebrate Recovery. We had Tim on. It seems like forever ago now, but it wasn't that long ago. Tim Putt was on the podcast and talked all about Celebrate Recovery. You guys go back and listen to that. It's really important. If your guys are out there struggling, it's a really cool ministry we have here at SouthPoint Church. I think that's all the events. We have anything else coming up that I haven't mentioned yet?
Well, we have the
Yeah,
men's
the
conference
men's
coming
What?
up.
conference.
Hold on a minute.
Yeah.
Marked.
We've had an
Man.
event here every month this year,
Yeah.
except for
We kicked off this
January.
series with a marriage conference. Now we're like,
I know.
it seems like forever ago.
Yep.
Not Pastor Naeem was here. Men's conference. What's the date? We have a date for that.
Yes, we
Yes.
do. The 5th and the 6th of May.
May 5th.
Yes.
And you can just hear
Did
it
you run
here
that by
first.
my wife? You know
Nope.
what that day means?
Know what?
Cinco
de
de
Mayo.
Mayo.
I don't
Do you
know
play on
what that
Turtle
means.
Tacos?
Oh, you mean that fake Mexican holiday?
That's what he says.
We'll
It's
have
totally
breakfast
ruined my book.
burritos on Saturday
Is that what
morning.
we're gonna have?
It's a white person's
We're
holiday.
gonna
It's fine.
celebrate.
Yeah. No, we got a lot of fun things.
Oh, man, we do.
planned. We're gonna kick off things on Friday night with a word from Pastor Craig and chili cook-off.
Ooh,
yeah.
ooh.
First ever.
First ever.
Chili cook-off, and
Yes.
the winner will receive a belt,
Yes.
Ooh.
A belt.
and it will be passed on year after year. This is like the
That's
beginning
incredible.
of something.
This is.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have
Yes.
axe throwing.
I'm gonna sign up right now.
We're gonna have go-karts. We're gonna be riding go-karts
Yep.
even after my
Yeah,
Like that. Isn't that PTSD?
Everybody has to wear a cast
Wear
as they
baseball
drive.
gloves, like
Definitely
baseball
sign
mitts.
the waivers.
the old gauntlets from the night
gauntlets.
days. You know,
I think there is always a waiver for something every year at these men's conferences.
this
but
one's
it's a
there's gonna be a
blast.
waiver to come, a waiver to ride go-karts, and
Individuals.
and a waiver to throw axes.
Yeah.
Axes.
I just see somebody walking in like Kevin from The Office with their chili, and just right on the ground.
Yep. It's funny you should say that. But we also have bull riding.
that ties into it, but
Bull riding.
Yep, we're gonna have a little bit of bull riding.
mechanical
That'll be-
bulls coming.
Gracious.
This is going to be
Please
the
get on the
men's
mechanical bull
conference.
and somebody report it.
Absolutely not.
Yes.
Please.
I'd like for you and Carson to get on there and ride tandem.
Together.
Tandem bull riding. It's coming to a church near you. Said no one ever.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah,
It is so
exactly.
bad. Cinco de Mayo. I'm sorry, babe. We'll not be able to take you to get your usual Mexican food that night. I'll take you the night before. How about we go Thursday?
Hey,
Cinco Cuatro.
Yeah, you could do it. Come
It's
on.
fine. Everything's
Cinco
fine.
May the
Cuatro.
4th.
May the 4th is a Star Wars Day. We have to celebrate something completely different the day before that. So
Cuatro de Mayo.
there it is.
I said Cinco Cuatro, and he didn't say anything. I was just like, I know that's
He's
wrong,
not
Carlos.
Really Mexican.
No, he's not.
He's white.
It's not. Hey, everybody, if you're confused on Cinco de Mayo, go look it up. Google's free, everybody. It is not a holiday.
It is not a holiday.
But it's fun. We get to have fun anyway.
Actually, created by Corona, I believe.
Was it? It probably was.
Marketing.
History will tell you that it is an important date, but not that important. Let's get to it. We talked about Pastor Naeem kicking off this series, Mental Myths, which seems like an eternity ago.
Yeah.
It just does, right? Time's flying by. It's rained every single day since then.
Yeah.
He spoke on sin, a really good message.
Yeah, very
It's
good.
Anything
really
you
good.
want? Any takeaways from that one you remember that?
I liked his different view of the whole thing. It was, if you only heard pieces of it, you
Yeah.
might think, oh, well, that's heretical. Okay, but stop pulling out one little
Yeah.
phrase and listen to the whole message and the way he broke these things down. It was fantastic. I would highly recommend people go back and
Love-
Watch it. Yeah.
watch the whole thing,
Converse.
not just little snippets, because you can get in trouble doing that. Of course, we get in trouble doing that with the Bible too. So
Absolutely. The power of love is so much greater than the power of sin. I thought
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, that was a good point.
really
I like
good.
the sin that it evolves and grows.
Yep.
You know, if you're not careful, it starts out this way, turns into this thing. You know, I thought that was a really good point.
I also liked where he said, talking about coping, people cope, and we always talk down about that. And he was like, coping is not the answer, but at least shows that people are trying. You know, they don't have the answer, but they're doing the best that they
Yeah.
can.
Yep.
And that was just another one of those like turns where you're like, oh yeah, you're coping, so you at least recognize
Yeah.
Yeah.
this is an issue. You just have the wrong answer.
Right. Man, really good. Pastor Carson's not here today. He did wrap up this series this past Sunday, talking about getting the turds out of your teapot. Hope you guys-
Turdy
hope you
tea.
guys- he said turd. There was just it was giggling in the audience, and I was just like, oh gosh, there's a bunch of kids out here. Like it was so funny. And
It was me.
Was it you? But I mean, what a great way to say it. Gossip is such a easy thing to fall into because
Yeah.
you go from a normal conversation to like immediately turn that way, and it's like all of a sudden you're talking about somebody, and it's like, oh, what the crap just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy to fall into that. So get those turds out of your teapots, everybody. Hey, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that term a lot. You kicked off week 2 talking about idols.
Yeah.
That one was a little heavy, wasn't
Well, yeah, self-deism, you know, it's a little
it?
it's a
Back
little
to
heady.
back, those idols self. You had 3 really heavy messages in a row,
Thanks.
but you know,
Way to lift the spirits of everybody. I think with the idols, you know, what people don't realize a lot of times is anything, even good things that you put ahead of God, sets itself up as an idol. And one of the things I didn't talk about in the message because of lack of time, but you know, Abraham, and he gets his promised son Isaac, and the whole time as the promise, God is promising him a son. And then when he's called to sacrifice Isaac, God says, your son, your one and only son. In other words, now he's no longer the promised son. Now you've made him your son. Are you willing to sacrifice what you've now taken over that I've blessed you with, but you've elevated it to a certain level? Are you willing to bring that back down and put me first?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times we see people do that, like with kids, for example.
Absolutely.
Kids are beautiful and they're a blessing from the Lord and all of that, but they're still a blessing from the Lord.
Yep.
And so God has to always be first.
Yep.
And I always like to challenge helicopter parents. It's like, do you trust God with your kids, or are you only trusting yourself with your kids? And that's a tough road, because kids are, again, amazing and wonderful, and there's nothing wrong with it. Well, some kids, there's some things wrong with them, but yeah, so we have to keep things in balance, and that's an ongoing daily self-check.
you had an honest moment during this message. You talked about your idol at one point. You said you were worshiping, and you were worried about the number of people. And I've been a part of I've served in churches before where I've been the one to count. I've been the counter, and I've had to report, and I've gotten the message back going, what happened, or where
you counted wrong.
Where is everybody? You know,
What happened?
yeah, it is. Especially if you have a consistent number, all of a sudden it drops, and it's like, and then it's a panic of what are we doing wrong?
Yep.
Thank you for being vulnerable and honest in that moment, because I think that people need to know that you have your faults as well as everybody else does, because sometimes there's misconceptions with pastors, and like, you can't do no wrong, right?
Yeah, right. They do think that,
Yeah.
but it is definitely not accurate at
Not
all.
accurate.
And for me on that, the thing was, I slipped into, and I've heard this growing up in the church that I grew up in and the denomination that I grew up in. It was a sin to count, because in the Old Testament, where David counted his men, the people, and God punished him for it. And so they took that to the extreme. The problem was not that David was counting. It was that David was making his identity about how big his kingdom was. And that's what I fell into. My identity became how many people were there.
The measure of success.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the measure of success. And God is the one who adds the increase.
Yep.
And so anytime I start thinking I have anything to do with the increase or the decrease, I'm out of line.
Yeah.
Man, that's good. An idol will always say you are not enough, but when you come to the altar of Jesus, the message is different. I paraphrased that a little bit, but thought that was really good. Just point our way to Jesus.
I
you
like
know.
your paraphrase better.
Oh.
Yours is good.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you, though. But you said it better the first time around. I thought this was also good. The reason you struggle is because you keep going back to the altar of the idols of your heart, trying to find forgiveness and refreshment and encouragement of your idol.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
you
you
keep
can
going
never,
back to it over and over again.
You can
thinking
never
it's gonna
please an
get
idol,
better.
ever. Never. And with God, the beauty is you pleased him before you did anything. That's
Yeah.
just like awesome. God's so good.
Yep. I was ready for you to bring the felt board out for the Jonah story.
The minute
We're
I said
working on
Jonah,
one.
everybody's waiting for the what were those flannel graphs? That's what it was called.
Yeah, the felt board flannel graphs.
Did
You
you
guys
grow up
have
with
We had the
that?
flannel?
felt,
Oh,
we had
yeah.
the felt board.
The felt
We had
board.
an entire
Yeah.
wall in our Sunday school room that was that. So
Yeah.
you know,
I loved them.
man.
They were great.
I'm sure that
They were
somebody
something.
heard that whole story for the first time in completion rather than just what the the little bit of it is.
Yeah.
You know. Thought that was really good.
That was fun.
Do those still exist? There's-
Oh, I'm sure they do
Oh,
in
man.
some
We
corners
need
of the
one.
world.
Right next to the overhead transparencies.
Yes.
Do you remember those?
Yes,
Oh,
for
yeah.
Sure.
I was a slide changer for a minute there. in my
That's
youth
those
days.
were
And man, if
slides.
you
Those
ever
were
got those
transparent.
words,
Transparency. Oh yeah.
if you ever got those words out of order,
Oh,
not the second chorus, the first one.
Switching them back and
now
forth.
now with the pro presenter, you're pushing the button. You can still mess that up too.
Oh, yeah.
We've seen those worship fills online, and there's one epic one where the lady's like, "I don't have the words." She
Oh,
just
she's
starts-
just singing the line.
I've seen that.
goes off on this.
I'm gonna need the words.
What's funny is
'cause I don't know 'em.
she's singing
That's
in
me.
Spanish. If you go watch it again, she's singing the song in Spanish.
Yeah.
I think the testimony song from Elevation, whatever it is. This is my testimony. That one, but she's singing in Spanish, and then when the words don't go, she switches
Swaps
to
to
English,
English.
going, "I don't have the words," and she's, oh my gosh, it's so great.
Oh, see, I thought she was singing in tongues.
That's what I was like.
and
Maybe they
then
thought she was
switched
singing
out.
in tongues if she was
Coming
in a
out of the
Hispanic
Pentecostal
church,
church,
for
it's
sure.
like, oh, she's singing in
Hey,
tongues. I get
it
that.
was coming, but the words weren't there for her to continue the.
So she
yeah.
should have just gone from Spanish into tongues,
tongues.
and then
Yeah.
it would have worked.
Just improvised the whole way. Goodness gracious. Self.
You gotta love it when all you get out of Carlos is goodness gracious.
Oh no, it's fun. I love
Throw
it.
him off. It's great.
It was on fresh on the mind. Watched it again. I think I came across my feed yesterday. Self-deism. He brought it with a little historical history lesson there. A lot of the history buffs
The
probably
history
had a great
according to
time.
Craig. I mean, Google.
It was mostly accurate.
Oh, it was good. It was good. I just like the look on his face.
I heard, I could hear all the true historians in the room though, because you know that they were like,
Wait
"You
a minute.
skipped this one.
Yeah.
You skipped
Yeah.
this one.
This is a big deal. Why didn't you say
What
this?
about this one?
Actually,
What about the Reformation? What about Martin Luther?
Actually,
oh man, I do really appreciate you bringing that historical context to everything because we forget that this really did happen sometimes.
Yes.
yeah.
There was more than just like Jesus walking around and think these people in the Bible. Everything else in the world was happening in a historical context. So thank you. I always appreciate you bringing that. The one that always comes to mind is I think the first time you really preached on communion, and you like
The
dove
4
into the
cups.
actual history of it.
Oh yeah. Was that the 4 cups one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I never heard that in my life.
It's a good story.
It was really good.
And it's true.
You learned something.
I know. I tell you. Take notes, everybody. Notes make. What's the?
Oh, my
what's
gosh.
The phrase?
You did
Note
learn that
takers-
one.
Note takers are history makers. Yeah, it was fun. I won't call her by name because I wouldn't want to embarrass her. But Gabby Bermudez, I was talking to her, and we were just having a good conversation. She said when she first came to SouthPoint, she hated it, and she came. I think it was once or twice, and then stopped coming for a while, and then decided to come back. And she came for a while, and she still hated it, but she didn't know why she was back. And then after a few months, she realized, oh my goodness, the reason I didn't like it is because I was learning and I was being not required, but I was kind of being expected to learn and grow and act different. And then I realized that I was acting different in my life. And so, and of course now she loves it and she's been here for years. And
Yeah.
so
Yep.
she's awesome.
Yeah, we had a almost similar experience, but it wasn't because we were learning.
No, it's because we didn't do Southern gospel.
Moving on.
Moving on. self-deism, if you are the center of your world, you have a warped world, and you will make things worse. You become the problem and not the solution.
God, who said that?
Man, I don't know. Some guy I was talking on Sunday.
That sounds like heavy. Yay, Jesus. That is
It
heavy
really
stuff.
goes
isn't
back
it?
to an idol.
Yeah.
Idol yourself. I mean, these two are wrapped up together. I mean, I like you talked about the narcissist. You had a little trouble with that one, by the way.
Narcissist. What do you call two narcissists sitting in a room?
I don't know.
What's plural for narcissi? I looked it up. Two narcissists.
Are you for sure that's pronounced that way?
Narcissi.
Did you Google sound it and push play and make sure that was right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
No,
Yeah.
I believe
didn't
you.
do that.
It was on Wikipedia. It's
For
got to
sure.
be true.
Self-help. How do you fit into the? How do I write? How do you fit in the lives I'm trying to live? Definitely a lot of self-help books. Was it me, or did you talk about how many numbers of self-help books are out
I
there?
just did a quick Google search
Quick Google
on
search.
self-help books.
How's many church in DeSoto County?
And it, and I think it was like 1.9 billion or something. I said it in the I mean, it was just like ridiculous. But the other side of that is, I like self-help books,
Yeah.
and they're good.
Yeah.
They're just not the answer.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's they can guide. They can kind of help you along, but they're still not the answer. If it doesn't come back to Jesus, then it's just he's the answer.
Yep. Absolutely.
I'm a pretty big Jesus kind of fella.
Yeah.
I really am.
JC.
Yep.
Church has been divided over internal convictions. I think that's the history of the church right there, of different denominations. I just think that's what I thought was
So
really
here's
good.
a post I saw on Facebook today. And if our church people are watching, you reposted
There's
it.
some people out here.
It was a picture of Jesus on the cross and then the thief next to him, and the picture of the thief's face was more modern. It was like one of us. And it was a long post about this thief on the cross didn't need a smoke machine, pastors wearing skinny jeans, lights, all this stuff. All he needed was Jesus. And I read that and I'm like, yeah, okay, but then you're obviously showing your spiritual bigotry, because he also didn't need choir robes or an organ or a pulpit. And so it still bothers me why we as Christians think we have to prove our point by tearing down other people in the kingdom. I just don't like that. I mean, just stick with, yes, the thief on the cross needed nothing but
Yep.
Jesus.
Yep.
That's it.
And we don't need lights. We need Jesus. That's it. So
If you believe, I mean,
that's it.
It's so simple, but
That's
we
it.
make it so complicated.
And don't tear down others to make your point. Just
Yep.
Jesus is the point.
It's good stuff.
That's my own little soapbox.
That's good.
I'll stop.
That's good.
But the podcast is still going, so I won't
Hey,
stop.
no, it's fine.
No, you continue, please. Keep rolling.
We got anything else on self-deism before I move on?
Oh dear Lord,
All
no.
right.
That's
Nope.
too heavy. Let's
All
move on
right.
to something else.
Well, yeah,
Let's just
go
keep
let's
going
go
deep
to,
further.
Let's go to week 4 because
Yeah.
I mean,
A light topic, politics.
a light topic.
oh, so fun.
This was
All right.
my favorite one
That
out
was
of
your
the
favorite
whole
one?
of
Okay,
the
go
whole
ahead.
thing. Well, no, I'm just saying it was my favorite one because it's, I think, where the church gets it wrong the most is
Yes.
trying to side with a specific political entity. And you pointed it out beautifully. I thought you did everything just like it should have been done. We got to be in the middle of things.
Right.
You can't, I'm this, I'm that, I'm far left, I'm far
Yeah.
right. That is my left, yes. Far left, far right. And get yourself pigeonholed into things that have nothing to do with your walk with Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what ends up happening a lot of times. I mean, you just look across America right now in any kind of conversation where it gravitates towards anti-religion or, everything should be based on my beliefs. You know
Right.
what I mean? So,
I was surprised at how many people came up to me afterwards or emailed me or texted me and talked about, basically they were saying thank you. It's what I was feeling, but I didn't have the words for it. And there was a couple people that were not in that same vein. But
They have the American flag on their behinds.
they have it tattooed on them several places. But again, through that whole thing, I am an American. I love
Absolutely.
our country. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
But just knowing that Christian started as a political term, not a religious term, it should be a game
History,
changer
folks.
for
It's history.
all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. I absolutely despise politics, and social media has gifted the people a voice to spew all they want. And you talked about you started this message around the last election.
I did.
were you planning on bringing the message at that point, or is it just an idea for you personally? Like maybe one day.
No, I really was going to speak it. It was leading up to the election. It was. I'm not even going to try to figure out how much before it was, a month or whatever. It was at the height of all that.
Yeah.
And started putting it together, and I was really just like, everybody was so angry, and they were so entrenched in their political beliefs, and it was just like, you're not gonna hear anything. You're not gonna hear it with an open heart. It's like trying to negotiate with a drunk, right? I mean, they're so intoxicated by what they have in them that they can't walk a straight line to figure out the path.
Yeah.
And so I just put it down. Had the notes in my iPad, and then I just pulled those out a few months ago and started working on it.
Like, okay, it's time.
We'll see. We'll see how it all comes out in this next election. We'll see if SouthPointers can stay Christian.
Being finally coming into adulthood and knowing how important the elections really are, and how voting is very important, especially for this country and our families, things like that. So I never really was into politics up until that point, and but I still remember the previous election, not this last one, but the previous one. I was sitting in the break room at work, and they conveniently had CNN on the TV during that election and the election result night. And so I got in there a little sooner than everybody else, and then everybody came in because there's no TVs out on the floor. There's no, everybody supposed to have their phones up, so nobody really knew the results. And I've never felt so much tense anger in one room than I did that night. And it was a very diverse room. There was a very small group over here, like quietly celebrating, and there was a whole lot of people who were very, very angry. And I just sat there and watched all of it, and I was just like, it's just a guy in a house. Like, like if they only knew that Jesus is the real answer, that we've stated and you've stated that we should be kingdom driven. That this is our goal, is to be kingdom driven and to show people the way to Jesus. And then they're so angry and focused on this one thing. It was hostile, and I didn't know. I honestly didn't know what was going to happen that night, because it was just like, then break was over and everybody had to go back to work somehow. So you'd imagine how the rest of the night was probably felt for so many, just over the results of one thing. And I think being in those kind of environments, I've just really despised politics for that reason, because it is such a touchy subject.
It brings out the worst in us rather than brings out the best in us.
Yeah, it absolutely does. But thank you. I thought it was great as well. I thought it was really good.
Well, people can go back and watch it, and they probably need to bookmark it, because I won't speak that again.
Never again.
Well, I won't say never, but it'll be a long time. A long time.
At least a couple of weeks.
A couple weeks.
Only if the Lord saith, Craig, because he's Scottish.
Scottish.
Obviously, I touched on it a minute ago. Week 5 was all about gossip.
Oh yeah, turd in the tea.
Turd in the tea.
Yep.
How was that one for you? How was that one for you, being watching Carson, listening to Carson, instead of being up there delivering that kind of message?
I thought it was great. He did a fantastic job. I see his notes before he gets up and speaks or whatever, and they were great. And he did a fantastic job delivering the message.
Did you understand some of the Gen Z terms he was saying? Because I didn't. I can't.
But you have kids in your household that probably utilize some of that language. It may be a little bit familiar.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
yeah.
I'm familiar. Plus, Carson says them around the office here, and so we hear them all the time. And he makes fun of. Well, we all make fun of bussin'.
Yeah, it just sounds
Bussin's
like white
the one.
noise. It's
Yeah.
all white noise.
It's all white noise.
Yeah.
Is that a part of your words of the day, Jason? They're not a part of that.
What's that?
They're not a part of your words of the day.
No, they're not.
I've never heard I've never heard Jason say bussin' or
I have
yeet.
actually.
Have you?
I have, yes. I have said bussin' just to get a reaction out of Carson, because I'll walk in very, put on my khakis. That was bussin', and it just makes him cringe. It's like, that's what I was.
One of my
going for.
funny things that thought was funny that he shared, because it was so real. He said, "Have you ever had somebody that said something and they're old, but they say something young, trying to be young, and it just comes across even worse.
Yep.
And
it's so cringy. I'm never using that word again. That's what they end up saying. I can't use that.
Ruined
I
it for
can't
me.
do it.
Yeah.
Not doing it.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember the 3 people we said: go to Jesus, go to your spouse,
Your therapist.
your therapist.
And go to God unless it's about your spouse. And then see the last 2.
See the first
See
two.
the
first two.
See the first 2.
A or B, yeah.
So yeah, if you got a vent, if you have something to say, go to the proper authorities.
Yes.
And not your buddy, your friends, or your coworkers, and because it's so easy, it is.
It is.
It's the easiest thing in the world to slip into. I think that we've wrapped it all up. It was a great series, great job. Sunday, you're preaching about Jesus.
I am actually yes, it is about Jesus.
Okay, good. Yeah.
I'm going to be talking. I'm going to tie the Easter message into the woman caught in adultery, and how the only way to grasp grace is if you also grasp truth. You have to have both, and we walk around trying to do truth or grace, and so we're going to talk about the conjunction, the power of the conjunction of and. That's what we're going to talk about.
The sticky middle.
The sticky middle.
Yeah.
Back to the messy middle.
Yep.
That's why you're so good. You bring those.
That's all. That's the only reason I'm here.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Can I tell you what we're doing after Easter?
Yes.
Because this is I'm excited about this.
Yes.
Is that out of order?
Oh,
Can
no.
I pause real quick?
Sure.
Doug Bell commented
Oh, wow.
and said, "As the youngest pastor in the Church United, I understand the jargon."
Doug, you probably use it too, don't you, Doug? I know you do.
He said, hashtag go Easter, go SouthPoint.
Yes. Thank you, Doug.
And then Tim commented and said, "Bussin' to set up for CR. See y'all later. Love y'all."
Oh
Is that the
my
right
God.
context?
Oh my God.
That's not the right
No.
context.
That's exactly how I would use that word.
Yes.
We are, after Easter, we're starting a series called Romans.
Bussin', right?
It's going to be a bussin' series.
That would have been if you would have said bussin', I would have been like, okay, this is it all right.
We're going to study some bussin' scripture.
Oh, my.
We're going to yeet it for all it's worth.
We're done.
How's
You're
that?
done.
You're done. You're done. But we're going to do something we've never done at SouthPoint before. We're going to do a 16-week series.
Oh.
We are going to go all summer and do a deep dive study of the book of Romans. And so we're going
I'm
to
excited.
have
It's going to be great.
Yes,
we're
I'm
gonna
in
have
Romans right now.
Are you?
Bible
Yeah.
studies during the week online, devotionals online that we're going to do together as a church.
Awesome.
And it'll all be through the app. And then each message each week will be a different chapter of Romans, and we'll just take it from beginning to end, and it will end the last chapter with Young Guns, and so all the young,
that's awesome.
the young folks will be talking about that
Young
last
Guns
chapter.
3.
It's going to be awesome. I'm excited
It's
about
like
it. It's going to be
movie
good.
sequels.
Because Romans is like the greatest book ever. Oh, it's awesome.
That's some good stuff.
I'm
Romans,
excited.
everybody. Hey, start reading. Start reading your Bibles.
Get in it.
Get into Romans.
Yep.
Get out your pen and paper and your highlighter if you have a physical Bible.
I could challenge everybody and say, instead of trying to deconstruct your faith, why don't you stop deconstructing you never had to begin with and start constructing something you need and want? Ooh, that'd be good. And Romans would be a great place to do that.
Great place to start.
It would be.
That's some good stuff. Thank you, everybody who joined us today live. This is a different start time, everybody. My schedule changed, so
Yeah.
thank you guys for changing with me. Thank you guys for joining in alongside, and thank you, Doug Bell, and everybody else, Tim, for all your comments. If you need a church in Olive Branch, go see Doug Bell.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's about 100,000 in Olive Branch alone, but I mean, there's one of them.
I really love where we live because there
Yes.
are so many. I mean, I joke about it, but they really are. It really is a joke. We have so many amazing churches in our county, and it's all about finding the church that fits your personality.
Absolutely.
Really.
Yep.
And so it's not slamming someone else's style or someone else's service. It's if you don't like it, then go to a different one. As long as they're preaching Jesus Christ, come on, man, that's awesome.
That's it. Thank you for joining us today. Don't forget to follow us on all social media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, where you'll find this podcast as well as the past messages.
Yeah, man.
And tell all your friends about us. Before we get out of here, obviously the most important question I like to ask everybody is, what are you currently loving?
What am I loving? I'm loving the day after men's conference is over, because then things might slow down a little
They
bit.
might.
It's been a little hectic.
Yes.
It's been great.
Yep.
I love it. It's exciting.
Yep.
So I guess that's what I'm loving. I'm
Absolutely.
loving
Shout out to all the staff and all the hard
just
work
how
you guys have been doing.
busy things have been. It's
Loving the
been
chaos.
refreshing this year because
Yep.
it's been the busiest it's been like the last 3 years. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
been
kind
a
of
lot
like
of
we
fun.
thought, you know what? We're back.
Yeah, we're back.
So let's just do
everything.
All
yeah,
at once.
everything all at once, and we're doing
Spread
it.
the salad. No.
And we're doing it.
all together.
Yeah.
It's one of those things you put it on the calendar and it looks all good and happy. When it's 8 months down the road, you're like, oh, that's fine.
Oh, look at all that stuff
That'll be
we planned.
so fun. And then you get down to it, you get there, and you're like,
we gotta
oh,
do
crap,
something
this
now."
is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But
That's
it's great.
exciting. There's a lot of exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Jacqui, what do you
Me
love?
fir- Why me next?
Because I called your name, Jaquella.
I'm enjoying trying to settle into a new schedule and having him at home at night.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great.
What?
I know.
Partially.
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 No, not all
Night.
night.
I had to be at
Little
work at 11 p.m., but I
Yeah, but that's
can
a-
be
yeah.
at night for the most
When I
part.
fall
and then
asleep,
yeah,
you
once
You
Chill
get
out.
to
sleep,
you get to tuck her
I sneak out.
I
Yep,
know.
I sneak out
Yeah.
the house, and as long as the dog doesn't chase me out, I'm good.
I am. Is it my turn?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Go ahead.
I am loving the realization or the reminder of all the amazing stories that are in SouthPoint.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing this video, and you'll see it Sunday for Easter. If you miss it, you're just well, you're a turd.
Don't give too
Um,
many spoilers.
Not in the tea though.
It's a video with some different testimonies and stuff, and just the people that are in that God has trusted us with. I was thanking Him for it the other day. Just the people that He trusts us with.
Yeah.
And that's humbling. It really is, and I am blown away that God trusts us in the house with former Satanists, former a leader of the Aryan Brotherhood, who I mean, just murderers. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, and I am humbled and blown away by who
the
God
redemption stories
Absolutely.
are powerful.
God, it's just
So good.
Powerful.
that I say this all the time, but it's such a great reminder. We get to do this. It's not a job, it's a privilege.
Yeah.
And I'm blown away. I love it.
Absolutely. Hey, if you're serving Sunday, you don't know who's walking in that door.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. Somebody might be grieving. Somebody might be, having some kind of addiction issue. Whatever it might be, they're coming in that door Sunday. Say hi to somebody. Serve them coffee. Whatever it is. Hey, take care of their kids.
Yep.
Security keep us all safe. We're just thankful. I'm so happy to be on an amazing serve team every time, and Easter's always such a fun Sunday.
So fun.
So fun.
It'll be great.
Kanye, what are you currently loving?
I'm loving, I would say learning. And lately, I feel like I've been reminded that a bad day does not equal a bad life. So I'm trying to get that in my brain.
That's good, Katye. I call her Katye.
Thanks.
Did you call her Katye?
I did.
Okay, good.
I don't think
Her
I
name
really
is
ever-
actually Katie.
Oh, okay. So I went to Starbucks the other day, and the girl, when she brought my coffee out, said, Katye.
And you're like, yes,
That's me.
I'm second cousins of Kanye.
That's hilarious.
Not really. No, probably.
That's
not.
No.
hilarious. I'm not sure I've ever called
Maybe.
you Kanye until just now, but that's fun anyway.
We call her that
okay.
because we have so many Katies
Yes,
here.
we have all the Katies.
Yes.
And
I mean-
hers is spelled different, so it's Katye.
Yep.
Or Mangalang.
Or Mangling.
Yep.
Mangling. I love how you talk about what her last name means in Italian.
She doesn't like it, though, so I won't.
He digresses. Carlos, what are you loving?
Okay.
You could change the "What are you loving?" We started doing this with our kids around the dinner table. We used to do "What was your favorite thing of the day?"
Ooh.
And now we do "Give me a happy and a crappy."
Oh, that's a good.
Happy and crappy.
Oh, all right.
Happy and a crappy.
But anyway, what are you loving right
Oh,
now?
I was about to go happy and crappy.
Do all three.
All three. Happy that I got a little bit of sleep today. Crappy, the seat in my car kind of broke a little bit, so it's like leaning back like this.
The gangsta lead?
Yes,
All
I
right.
hate it. I'm not that guy.
I'm not that guy.
You're
I'm
not-
not cool enough to drive this way.
You're not
I
bussing.
just, you know,
You're not
not
I'm not
bussing.
bussing. I'm not
Bro, you got to
bussing
sit
at
up and yeet that thing.
all. There's. Side note: there's there's one of those like reels going around where a guy made like a worship song
No cap.
with bussing, and it's so funny. I'm gonna send it to you guys. It's great. There's,
No cap.
There's,
Or
you know,
cap.
Or cap.
Whichever
I'm
you
not, and I'm not
prefer.
capping about that either.
Oh.
I am currently loving. WrestleMania was this past weekend. I went and saw John Wick last week. John Wick 4. Oh, that
The
was
dialogue
incredible.
in it is amazing.
He doesn't talk. He just.
380 words.
That's great.
300
In the entire movie.
He
Wow.
doesn't have to.
That's the stat that I heard was he
Yes.
spoke 380
Keanu Reeves'
words.
total
In this
dialogue is 380.
4-hour movie you went and saw.
It was
There's
3 hours long, and he had
380
380 words. That's all he spoke. He doesn't have to. It's great. I'm telling you. Once you watch the movie, you're like, yeah, he doesn't have to say anything.
It's
He
very
says
moving.
it in a whole other
very
way.
moving. Yeah.
It's like the old Jesus movies. He doesn't have to say anything. He just stands like that.
Yes.
Our views have steadily just gone.
Everybody's like, okay,
We've
we're out.
derailed.
Everybody's falling away.
All right, we're saying that. Thank you so much, everybody, and we'll be back soon with another great episode. Bussin'. Bye.
Oh my
No cat. No cat.